A new century, they say. As the clock ticked 12 and the calendar switched, the 21st century is here, with all the lights shadow casted. Mental health is amongst the many issues that are presented in this century. In defining the word, WHO conceptualized this term as a state of well-being in which the individual can cope with the normal stresses of life and is able to make contributions to his or her community. In the US, it is statistically estimated that 50% of people will be diagnosed with mental illness at some point of their life. With that said, child abuse, trauma, isolation, discrimination, stress, assault, etc. are some of the causes contributing to this crisis. Within mental illness, such can range from and more. Mental health conditions can have substantial effects on all areas of life. Depression is a common mental disorder. It is said that people with severe mental health condition die as much as 2 decades earlier. Jackie Liu, a young artist whose recent work are painted in the medium of acrylic and oil. Her stylistic choice combines figurative, surreal, and abstract elements which helps to manifest narratives from personal experiences, such as child traumas, eating disorders, political events, identity crisis, and assault experience. Having to grow up with a tough childhood with a single mother who, quote, never wanted children, and she reminds me of it. By illustrating and sharing her struggles, she aims to foster communion around the stigmatized set of human experience and give a voice to the unspeakable through the medium of art. Young people, quote, represents the future, quote, is often claimed. Jackie is a contemporary young artist whose work may aid in understanding mental health from a visual standpoint. Her work not only highlights the challenge of the 21st century, but the act of vulnerability inspires others, which consequently promotes social development and transformation. On her social media channels, including TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, it has also been seen how the audience is able to connect to her stories, fostering a community where people may discuss issues and recognize that they're not alone. Home Sweet Home is an artwork of 40 by 40 inches, mainly made with oil and acrylic paint on canvas. After painting the background with acrylic, typically utilizing flat or gradient color to complement the piece's mood, Jackie begins by capturing digital photo references, which she transfers onto the canvas with diluted paint. In her more recent works, she has opted to use oil paints in the foreground since they provide a smoother and finer finish that highlights the piece's realism. She added polyester cobwebs and acrylic modeling paste in particularly to this piece to assist it better convey the story, establishing a mental image in the audience's mind of Jackie's home's physical attributions and the emotional state of its inhabitants. Jackie's line usage in Home Sweet Home, in which the unpredictable appearance of lines reflect her mental health chaotic state. Her self-portrait serves as the main focal point of the piece, and its realism stands out against the background's intense blood-red color. The decaying, battered, and wrinkled hand contrasts Jackie's age in addition to the mental abuse and trauma that caused her to mature at such a young age. The painting itself is covered in texture, which gives the artwork depth and appeal. Although illustrating an anxiety-inducing piece, balance is employed in which way that symmetry is helped to create stability to the eye. The hand gesture helps to direct the audience's attention from the eye to the scars to the mouth. This emphasis on the facial expression and the reveals of the tiny spiders is a crucial symbol to evoke terror. In complementing Home Sweet Home, Jackie Liu wrote a poem and made a behind-the-scenes video dedicated to this art. Jackie, who spent the summer at home after finishing her first year of college, made this painting in an effort to empathize with others who had similar experiences or struggles, and to reassure them that there is hope. Thus, it can be concluded that Home Sweet Home effectively addresses the global problem of mental health that affects many in the 21st century. As I would like to explore more in the medium of paint. Thus, I follow Jackie Liu's process, which overall I've learned a lot from her. By settling acrylic as a background has fastened the pace which I can work on the artwork drastically. Splatters are also added to mimic the circle spots that are seen in the reference. After all the acrylic base is dried, a basic sketch was sketched out with the help of Prismacolor erasable color pencils, so there will be no graphite making the paint muddy, giving more control over the paint colors. After ensuring that the proportions are correct, I went in with a diluted color and sketched it more prominently. Moreover, I replicated the study by using modeling paste, which has the consistency of runny toothpaste but dries like concrete. In this painting, I mix the skin tone and the modeling paste together. However, I didn't realize that I should have added less paint and more modeling paste, as it will dry a lot darker than wet. Additionally, I learned that it is more difficult to create texture with modeling paste as it tends to melt down with gravity. Thus, I used a hairdryer along with the toothpick to create this texture, mixing the paint while having the paste harden up. With all the acrylics finished, I move on to the oil paint, a medium in which gives me control over the texture and serves as a challenge in this task. I first set a base layer using the mid-tone, which afterwards I went in with a darker tone to add shadows, and then highlights by mixing with white. Using oil bought me time to work around the paint, in which I found oil much more easier to mix compared to acrylics, suitable for portraits like this. So on a more personal note, I am actually able to resonate with a lot of her stories and thus her paintings, and visually I'm especially able to relate to her artwork of Home Sweet Home, as she presents her regretfulness of returning to home due to the 17 years of tough life as she lived in that place. I can relate to this concept on a personal level, as I had a kinda tough upbringing along with my strict Asian mom. Yeah, the artist's message is connected to the global context as she strives to bring awareness to this issue of mental health, which is marked as one of the 21st century global issue.